You've spent countless hours in the garage with your dad. Now investing in that old car and working on it with your son reminds you of him. And his legacy lives on. Fund your passion with a low-interest home equity line of credit from Bank of Blue Valley.
Oh, I think I got you for like 2 seconds.
Second time. I was expecting that. Fool me once, never twice, right?
Oh man, I love that. I feel like there's a movie quote where someone butchers that line of "fool me once, fool me twice."
Yeah, that's why I tried to keep it simple because I was on my way to butchering that. That was going to happen.
Same here. I can only do. You could stick your head up a butcher's bottom, but you take the bull's word for it. But that's Tommy Boy. But I got that because I'm dyslexic. But more importantly, you have a new office at Bank of Blue Valley. So tell us about it.
Yeah, no, we're little changes that seem to make a big difference. But we've moved our commercial organization together in our headquarters in Overland Park, Kansas. So brought everybody on the commercial team in, reallocated some space, redid some space for our private wealth and our private bankers on the first floor, and stuck the commercial team on the second floor now. So have windows and all those little things that you forget how much you miss. My old office, I think everyone called it the prison. So much better setup for me.
No more comments from the audience. And speaking of the heart of Overland Park, where Bank of Blue Valley is one of our sponsors with Burns & McDonnell, we want to know where you are watching from and what is going on in your world. So please comment in the comment section before we bring on our guests. Also, we want to talk about Burns & McDonnell hiring a record-breaking over 3,000 employees. So if you are looking in Kansas City, you do want to go to Bank of Blue Valley's career page, or you can find them on LinkedIn for their openings. Or in general, there's a lot of positions at Burns & McDonnell. Just goes to show you two organizations that are hiring, growing, and thriving, I believe, because they create value in the community and for their clients. I do not think it's the economy. And also, we don't want to, we've been told by our co-host, Aaron Folk, that we can't be boring business all the time. But I mean, I got to get you and the guest a little question on the economy because it's really exciting. So, Will, the one quick question before we bring on the only reason why people are here and why they liked our post on LinkedIn, because they recognize his name. How much research did you do to prepare for this? Because I feel like you know a lot about business, and this guest is really well known.
Yeah, it's one of those where did quite a bit of research because I didn't want to make. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss all of what they do. The guy in this organization is fantastic. Everyone in town knows him, whether they know it or not. They probably are using products or they touch this organization in some way. So very excited to talk to our guest today.
All right. Well, without any further ado, and without Aaron running music, oh, she did it! We'd like to welcome CEO of Alphapointe, Reinhard Mabry.
Hi. How you doing?
Man, talk about that technology. I guess when you have Aaron Folk running the show, I mean, it's pretty easy. But have you ever been introduced on a podcast via music before?
No, it feels very Johnny Carson-esque. It's just wonderful. That's tremendous. Thank you.
Yeah,
guys.
well, we could be Ed McMahon, just have a little drink, but this is water. I was commenting on your summer look, but you mentioned you had a golf event yesterday. So what was that golf event for? And then for the audience, let's segue. It's a short question, long answer. Let's segue back to your upbringing, back to your organization again.
Sure. So yesterday we had our Alphapointe CNC Group Alphapointe Pro-Am Golf Tournament, presented by Bank Midwest, who's a great bank partner of ours. And they are, what was really important about this event is it supports our youth programming that we run throughout the year. We serve close to 500 kids who are blind or visually impaired throughout the community through our programming. This includes summer camps, like an adventure camp that we have for kids. So blind kids get a summer camp experience that all of their school age friends have gone and attended over the years. We have an adaptive technology camp for young people to learn technology solutions. So things that will allow them to be competitive in the classroom and they can take with them to work, their first job and whatnot, so that they're able to really be able to compete with their sighted peers. And then this year we're adding a art component. So we'll have young blind and visually impaired kids participating in an art camp. And then we have programs throughout the year helping young kids be able to compete, be able to really thrive in the classroom, learn good social skills, build confidence so that they can really be successful once they matriculate out of school and end up getting their first job and hopefully a career.
So Aaron will probably pull up the comments here, but speaking of manufacturing, there's someone in the audience that knows a lot about it as an executive in the firm, and that is Stephen. And then also we have Amy. And Amy, we want to know what you do for a living. I know Stephen. So Reinhard, I probably don't think you woke up one day and said, I'm going to be a non-for-profit manufacturing, sit on these national boards, do all these great things to the community. Where does the origin start of your career and how you got to Alphapointe today?
Sure. So, I was born overseas, and let me go through every year of my life if I can. It'll take a long time. No,
War and Peace story. We got it.
No. But I was born overseas and was adopted and really came to America with parents that were very loving and kind and giving. And what I found over the course of my as I was growing up is that I was given really great opportunity, and so as I got older and started thinking about work and what's going to be something that's going to be a passion for me, is it had to be something where I could give back, where I could contribute something to the community, and really not just be about a paycheck and not just be about making an owner or a board, wealthy. And even though that's totally fine and absolutely appropriate and moral and right, it was not my passion. So as I was finishing up my MBA, I was looking for something that was going to be a good way for me to feed the soul, and nonprofit and business development for the nonprofit sector was just a great fit. It allowed me to be a salesman. It allowed me to help create business and create work, but it also allowed me to do it for a population that is underrepresented in the workforce. And so that's really how I started. And I've been in this field now for close to 28 years, employing people with disabilities, employing people who are blind. This is a population that have a 70% or higher unemployment rate nationally. So 3 out of 4 people who are blind or have other disabilities are sitting on the sidelines watching the game being played, want to be in the game. And so organizations like Alphapointe are all about trying to help those folks get in the game. And we start with young people, as I started off, getting them the right mindset, the right skills, and really the right level of confidence to be able to go and compete. And then helping people who are working age adults who've perhaps lost their vision because of a health event or some change in their life circumstances, so that they're able to maintain their job or get a job and provide for themselves and for their families. And then for seniors who want to maintain themselves independently, they don't want to be in a nursing home or skilled nursing or assisted living, would like to maintain themselves and maintain their independence, and we help them do that. So at every stage of life, Alphapointe is involved in that. That was a passion for me to get into this field, was to be able to help people to do that, and it's caused me to want to stay in and kept me super engaged in what we do and excited about being able to keep doing it.
So Will, now that we turn the page, what are you thinking when you talk about your hair that you didn't have a bowl cut because you had different hair growing up? And you're jealous of Reinhardt's. What are you thinking on the business side of things?
Don't even know how to start with the question on that, or for an answer with that. So one thing, Reinhard, you're very well known in town, and you get a lot of well-deserved publicity for what you do. Alphapointe is a name that I think most everybody in town runs across or recognizes. But I don't know if a lot of people realize how many points or times they interact with at Alphapointe. And I thought it might be helpful if you could lay out Alphapointe, coming to the consumer and what that looks like. Because like I said, it's much more vast than I realized.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You're being very, very complimentary of me, but I will say it's the organization that is gotten a lot of visibility, and we're really proud of that and the work that we've done in order to be able to get our name out and our passion, which is about helping people who are blind maintain their independence and or gain their independence and be able to achieve their goals and their aspirations throughout their life. So Alphapointe really has two main areas of attention. One is we are a provider of rehabilitation and training services. So some of the things I've already described, I don't want to repeat, but helping people throughout the course of their life navigate a sighted world. So give them the tools, the training, and the confidence to be able to do something as simple as moving from point A to point B in a building or on a street. What we call orientation and mobility, to the tools that they need in order to be job ready or school ready, and then be able to go and achieve success there. And then the second is an employer. And we view ourselves broadly as an organization that places people into jobs or employs people ourselves. We have two manufacturing facilities, one in Kansas City, where we employ close to 200 people, and one in New York City in Queens, where we employ about that same number. We have retail operations. We operate at Fort Leonard Wood, or as the Army likes to refer to itself as Fort Lost in the Woods, and then Little Rock Air Force Base. And then we operate a low vision clinic, which we have an optometrist who is a specialist in low vision care that does low vision exams and therapy. And we do that in our facility in Kansas City, but we also have a facility in Overland Park in Corporate Woods. And so we've been able to deliver care and services to people who are blind and people who have other vision loss in order to maximize their independence, be job ready, and hopefully have a career to provide for themselves and for their families.
So Bank of Blue Valley and Burns & Mac have a long history, but a longer history is Alphapointe. And so we have a mutual friend that gives me a hard time because I read your book, but I don't read anything he gives me because it is a wonderful story of Kansas City and the business community. So what was one of the first products and the former name before rebranding that started? And then today, all the products you have that Will was alluding to that we may see out and about, but we just don't realize. So where did it start on the product side, and where is it today?
Sure. So Scott, thank you. It's funny we talk about that, and I really was a passion project for me to research our history, because in over the years we'd actually lost a lot of our history, and it was really kind of a sad thing. But nonprofits do that sometimes when they move to a different place. They box everything up, put it away, and then oops, where was that? So we really needed to get reacquainted with our history, and so I did that through a research project that I did over about a year. And what we found was that in 1911, a blind man who lived in Rosedale ended up going and running for as a judge, to be a judge here in Kansas City, and ended up going to law school and was the first blind lawyer in the state of Missouri, passed the bar in the state of Missouri and the state of Kansas. First blind man to pass the bar in each one of those states. He was the original founder of the organization, brought in 30 blind people that were around the community, and they organized themselves at Bud Park, and they were concerned about the issues of the day: housing, transportation, and employment. So we went about a effort to pursue and solve those issues at that time. When we opened up our workshop, there were 8 blind men and a blind supervisor, and they did 2 things. They caned chairs, which that's a kind of a lost art, and then they made brooms by hand, corn brooms by hand. And they made those brooms, and they were making brooms at what was called the Kansas City Association for the Blind from 1918 until we closed down the broom department in 1969. So that was the very first products that they made. And people who were blind were recruited into doing that type of work because it was very tactile. It was easy to look and feel the broom corn, and to feel the handle and wrap it around and get it tight and do it right. And so people who are blind made those brooms, and they were sold in stores, and they were sold door to door in Kansas City throughout the 40s and the 50s. And it was actually had a name, was called the blind broom. And then in the later 60s, we moved away from making brooms because it was kind of a dirty, dusty business, and people didn't enjoy doing it as much. And so we converted to making office supplies, and we sell office supplies to the federal government under a brand name called Skillcraft. And anyone who has served any time in the military knows that brand very well. They've seen that product. They've bought it off the shelves in their commissaries and in their exchanges, whether it be Army, Navy, Air Force exchange. And those are products that are ubiquitous. There is a pen that is made by people who are blind that is a black ballpoint retractable pen. We actually injection mold the components of that product today, but that product is sold and is used by the military throughout the world. It is very, very well known. And so we're excited about that. We now are a manufacturer of a whole array of office supplies. We're an injection molder in Kansas City. And then when we took over the New York operation, we actually started making brooms again, as well as sewing military uniforms and things of that nature, all in New York. So we have a very diverse array of jobs that people are blind are doing all throughout the country. But it started with that broom and caning chairs in Kansas City so many years ago.
We have 11 minutes left. One quick touch point that I will ask a question. When talking about the war in Ukraine, there's a product that's had many lives in iterations. How has that product evolved, and what is that product?
Yeah, so that is really one of the things that has been a focus of Alphapointe in more recent years is developing our own intellectual property, our own patented technology, and deploying those products. And we focused on tactical medical products that could be used by the military. And the very first one that we developed, we developed 2 different types of patented tourniquets: a mechanical tourniquet, which is issued to the soldier and is taken by the soldier into the field. and then a pneumatic, which is a pump style. It's like basically a bicycle pump type of device. Or it might look like a blood pressure wrap, but the same concept. Both of those devices are used by the military today. In fact, we've sold more than 500,000 tourniquets that are deployed. We issued about 2,000 of them that were actually sent to Ukraine and is being used by soldiers in Ukraine today. Those products right now are saving people's lives on the battlefield. And then we went beyond that and developed a product that works in combination with the tourniquet, which looks a little bit like a big plastic ball, and it's called it's a junctional hemorrhage control plate, and it essentially cuts off blood flow in an injury in which the tourniquet itself will not solve the problem, such as in a groin injury, for example. The tourniquet actually also works to stabilize pelvic injuries, and if you think about soldiers during the Iraq conflict, you had a lot of guys and women who were getting injured from IEDs that were exploding underneath the Humvee as it was driving down the road. And so you get a lot of pelvic injuries. And so our tourniquet was developed. The reason it's such a well-patented device is it also can be used to stabilize the pelvis until the soldier is taken off the battlefield and hopefully cared for and then brought back to their families. So that is, we're really excited about those devices. We've been working on the development of those over a number of years, and we have a team of designers and engineers working on that here at Alphapointe, and it's made by people who are blind, which we're really proud of.
Scott kind of alluded to it. I mean, wish we had more time today, Reinhard. It's fascinating. A couple of questions that I would want the audience to be able to get to is, what can Kansas Cityans do to help support you? What are some things that the Kansas City community can do to help Alphapointe? And then also, if we wanted to learn more about the organization, if we run out of time here today, where can I direct some people to go to learn more about your organization?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a great question. And certainly, our website, alphapointe.org, is a great place to go and learn about the organization, the breadth of things that we do. Like all nonprofits, we look for time, talent, and treasure from the community. And really, we depend upon the community to support our programs and our initiatives. So you can go to our website. You can learn about all the things that we do. We are always in need of volunteers. All of those summer camps really only drive and succeed when we have volunteers that can help us to accomplish those things. The second is you can buy our products. You can go to our website and you can buy the things that we make that people who are blind are making every single day. And then you can go and you can actually donate to our program. So you might ask, why does an organization that is making things, selling things, and therefore obviously generating revenue, why does it need donations? Well, because the delivery of rehabilitation and training services costs a lot more than the reimbursements we get from insurance or from the state. And so donations help to fund those programs and really allow us to extend our reach. We are serving people in 13 counties in Kansas. We serve residents throughout the state of Missouri. We serve people who come from Arkansas and from Nebraska and from Iowa and other places throughout the region that come to receive services. And so those folks really depend upon services that we deliver, some of which is reimbursed through insurance, but much of which is not. And so donations help us to achieve those goals. So your viewers and listeners can help and support our programs through any of those vehicles.
One thing that we didn't mention, if Erin's going to pull up a comment, is Amy, and a listener in the program that she's doing is the book that she can have for her students for Northwest Missouri State. And then, by the way, Amy, you should email us to come on the panel show for people on the panel, is your book. And your book tells a story from 1911 to present day and goes through the roots of Kansas City, starting downtown to where the end of the bus line is on Truce, where Fairyland Amusement Park is. And a lot of your board members were very influential. And, understanding the history of that for anyone that's in business locally in Kansas City, a cheat code, plugging the Business Journal that's very kind to our show and to Reinhard and our sponsors. Outside the Business Journal, your books is one of the few that you can read and kind of understand a little bit of how Kansas City operates, and also the migration of wealth and where the business community went and blossomed over time. For you, what have you learned coming to Kansas City that the viewers should know about the town that maybe you didn't know?
So I have to say, anyone who didn't live and grow up in in the middle of the country has probably very few, just some basic assumptions about it. But one thing that has always been that I've found to be 100% true is that people in Kansas City are very welcoming. They're very friendly. It is a great place to raise kids. But it's also a community that's built on relationships. And so you really have to have them. And so even a venue like this one that Aaron put together here that allows us to be able to talk to one another and build relationships and get to know one another and know that we're real people, that matters, because business is built on that. It's built on people building trust and confidence and knowing that we're here, we're real, and we have an impact. I found that to be very, very important when I moved here, was to build those connections. And I appreciate you doing that and helping us be able to tell our story, but helping us to meet great people in and around the community, because that's really how you achieve success here in Kansas City, I think.
Nope, agreed. And speaking of where you grew up, I love Amy Washam being posted. I'm a Gladstone from Gladstone myself, so it's good to see somebody from Gladstone chiming in and doing great things with Northwest Missouri State, I'm sure. Reinhard, like I said earlier, I wish we had more time to talk today. One of the things that we didn't get to, and I know we're short on time, but we get a lot of entrepreneurs that are watching the show, right? And I always like to ask somebody in your position, what are a couple bullet points of what you've learned through the years that you would wish that or someone had told you when you were first getting started?
Well, I would say that number one thing is ask lots of questions and ask for help, and don't be too egotistical to think that you have all the answers. That there's a wealth of help out there, and I think what's really so great about this community is people want to help one another. They want to be friendly and helpful, and I just think that that's one thing that we can do. And as an organization that depends upon relationships, we want to be as well. We are an injection molder, so if there's somebody that's got an idea and wants to see how that can be made, we could possibly help the entrepreneur, the serial entrepreneur, do that.
Yeah, great.
So love to be able to do that for them, and that's how we see it.
So when we think about things that are popular that the audience would know about, we would think about the movie Top Gun. And if you were spinning the pen, or if you were ejected from an airplane and you needed a tourniquet, it probably came out of Kansas City. So Reinhard and Will, you'll go first. If you're going to the movie theater and you have to get a snack, what are you going to get? And we'd love to have the audience weigh in as they listen to the end of this.
Yeah, so I've grown to my wife has taught me popcorn with the M&Ms mixed in, the plain M&Ms. I know.
All right, Reinhard, that's a tough one to beat.
That's my health snack of the day for you.
Look, if I'm going to the movie theater, I'm getting Reese's Pieces, man. That's just, I'm a peanut butter guy. Got to have Reese's.
Can't argue with that.
I was a little blue collar, so I'm sneaking some stuff in. But I'm a popcorn. I spoil myself with a Sprite. With that being said, we are ending right in on. had an audience member come in.
There it is.
Second time delay. Attaboy, Jared. You're the man. And we're right on time. Boom. Jeff Madden. Great name, by the way, Jeff. Nice job, Reinhard.
Nice to see you, Jeff.
The organization has gone since we first met. We'll have to catch up soon again. Well, thank you to everyone that was watching. Obviously, a lot of people comment after the fact when they watch it another time. People are busy on a Tuesday. But we really want to thank Bank Blue Valley. We want to thank Burns & McDonnell, two organizations just like Alphapointe with long history in Kansas City and building it. And most importantly, thank you to the CEO, Reinhard Mabry, and for your time, Reinhard. Thank you so much.
Thank you.